I think we can fundamentally say that the nuclear bombings were terrible, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
But microwaves. Pretty fucking cool, dude. We got the air fry one. It's pretty cool. Hey. My name is Fred Stewart. Welcome to Haunts, Graves, and Elmwoods. With me, as always, my lovely co-host.
It's me. It's Taylor. Hi.
Hi, Tay. And with us, running cameras and sound, is Bill Bernard.
Holy hell, it's me. How are you?
We're hanging out. We're having a good old time.
Yep.
About to talk about some aliens.
Oh.
Some aliens.
E.T. phone home.
But before we get to aliens, there's some news stories that we all have brought today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very excited to talk about, Bill, I'm very excited to talk about yours.
Okay.
But I want to start it off with some lighthearted fun one. And then I have a not so fun one.
Great.
All right, this comes from the UPI.com, which I don't know. A 5-foot-long water monitor lizard named Goose has been captured in Massachusetts after leading authorities on a 2-week chase through 2 states.
Wow.
Yes. So Goose, he
traveled.
traveled. Goose, who was escaped from a Webster home through a 2nd-story window on July 18th, was captured Saturday, turned over to the custody of Rainforest Reptile Show's Oasis Foundation. Too long, shorten it down. A non-profit specialist organization that assists in the search for the lizard. He had been spotted in the Little Pond area of Thompson, Connecticut, about 5 miles away from Webster, and he just kept going. They're not legal to keep as pets in Massachusetts without a special permit, and as you imagine, if you were keeping him, he was able to climb out the 2nd-story window. He did not have the proper licensing. But 2 states, you're just cruising.
2 states. Yeah, I'm like thinking about the fact that like they always talk about like cats and dogs and stuff that'll leave home, but like I didn't know that lizards would be able to go on such a wild chase and
A wild goose chase?
yes, a wild goose chase. I knew there was like news about some like
downhill from here. That's peak comedy, baby. That's peak comedy. That's it. That's all we have.
I'm surprised no one else thought of that joke.
Yeah.
The fuck?
I am incredibly disappointed that I did not think of that joke. Did someone else want to tell their fun, lighthearted story before I ruin the mood?
Sure. I can go. I got
pass it off to Tay.
I got a hot dog spill shuts
change your
down. He's too busy looking at his story. Hot dog spill shuts down highway in Pennsylvania. It's quote commuter's worst nightmare.
okay.
I think a commuter's worst nightmare was probably September 11th. I mean, I'm just
Yes, yeah. I mean,
No.
How could you forget?
Not like worst, like
Yeah.
WORST.
Oh, yes.
hot dog.
I love that. Okay.
It's
Come on, guys.
We're full of
You
puns.
need some sauerkraut to go with it.
And then I made it sad by bringing up 9/11. That's my bad, guys.
Okay.
We talked
Okay.
about the nuclear bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, then 9/11.
You brought up a lot in like the past.
I won't bring up anything else horrific.
I don't believe you.
I lied.
So a truckload of hot dogs spilled across Pennsylvania interstate on Friday. This story came out on August 1st, so whatever the Friday was before that. And this is from AP News. So
Okay.
I'm just reading what it says.
You got it.
After a crash that briefly clogged the heavy traveled artery in both directions.
Eating a lot of meat will cause that.
Yeah.
Crews were stuck with a job they did not relish.
All right, dude. I've had it just about enough.
Rolling up the scattered tube steaks for disposal.
I'm sorry, you say scattered tube sticks?
Steaks.
Oh, steaks.
Yeah.
Tube steaks.
Yes.
Tube steaks.
You want to see my fucking tube steak?
I don't know. I'm going to start calling hot dogs tube steaks now.
You're going to end up wearing a trench coat and scaring a lot of women. That's going to happen. Hey, what aisle is your fucking tube steaks? It's a horrible name. It should be on a fucking registry.
Yes.
So it says that the tractor trailer had an unspecified mechanical problem on Interstate 83, a few miles north of the Maryland line, as morning rush hour was wrapping up, causing it to push into a passenger vehicle. When the truck scraped along a concrete divider, its trailer was ripped open and fucking hot dogs everywhere.
Well,
Everywhere.
hot dog.
Can you imagine being in a car crash but your biggest fear is hot dogs? And so you like you like skid into the wall and then it's like, oh that was scary. And then like thousands of hot dogs.
That could be someone's personal hell, and I think they'd like disassociate. They'd be like, "Is this really happening right now?"
Like it was a lot of boxes of hot dogs, and they just kind of like ripped open.
It'd be like a scene from Eight-Legged Freaks, but it's all hot dogs.
It says that 4 people did require medical attention for injuries that were not life-threatening.
That's good.
Front end loader was used to scoop up the hot dogs and dump them in, put them in a dump truck.
Can you imagine having
a lot of dogs going to the dump?
Can you imagine having a CDO and like showing up your dump truck and they're like, "Hey, what are you hauling today?" Like, "I'm hauling a bunch of gravel. What about you?" "Hot dogs."
Hot dogs.
The fire chief said, quote, "I can tell you personally, hot dogs are very slippery. I did not know that."
You
never had a hot dog before? he's like never in my 40 years as fire chief have I ever had to handle a hot dog. God damn it, I broke that fucking rule today.
I mean, like, I thought that they were like firemen that like competed in like the Nathan's hot dog challenge. So I would have thought that at some point,
not that guy.
Yeah, not that guy. I mean, like some people are greasy, some people enjoy greasy hot dogs, and other people get greased by hot dogs. Brought to you by Nathan's.
To be greased by hot dogs.
Nathan, sponsor us, please.
I will not wear a shirt until Nathan's gets me the hot dog. Actually, they gave me the sponsorship. I will no longer wear a shirt, is what I was trying to say, and I will have a suit made of hot dogs the rest of my time as their sponsor. Well, then I guess the next big question is, should I ruin it, and then Bill, you can bring us back for some?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So we've often talked about death row on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that if you ever look into like the description of the podcast, is I properly shout out the Innocence Project, because I feel like the Innocence Project is one of the most coveted and highly important things that exist, because there's a lot of people in the criminal justice system that are guilty, especially on death row. But we often also talk about, if you go back way back in the day, if you've been listening that long, to the second episode of H.G.O, which was botched executions. And I have brought up several botched executions that have happened since then. And that is no different today. Tennessee executes Byron Black despite concerns about his heart device. Quote, "It's hurting so bad." This comes from the Tunisian. So the state of Tennessee on August 5th executed death row inmate Byron Black despite concerns from medical experts that his implanted heart device might repeatedly shock him.
Yes, I'd heard about that.
He was pronounced dead at 10:43 a.m. and had no last words. He did leave a message with his attorney expressing love for his family, but the Tunisian, along with several other news outlets, witnessed the execution, which Byron sighed and took deep breaths and appeared to groan in pain during the process, which was by lethal injection. Mm-hmm. At one point, he murmured, "It's hurting so bad," and replied to his spiritual advisor, replied, "I'm so sorry." Basically, his fucking, like, what's what I'm looking for?
It's like a pacemaker.
Was essentially firing while he was being executed.
Wow.
Which is a fucking crazy way to go.
Yeah.
For those of you who are curious on why he was on death row, he was on death row since 1989 for the murders of South Nashville murders of his ex-girlfriend Angela Clay and her 2 daughters, who were 9 and 6. But yeah, he fucking was just being trying to be like trying to survive while they were killing him. It's a fucking insane way to die. Whew. Wild. South is really having a hard time. Alabama had a really hard time with the nitrogen hypoxia ones.
Yeah.
Which that didn't go well either. Things are not going great with those. But Bill, let's talk about what you brought in.
Okay.
I have questions.
So basically, this is going to be real brief here, but it talks about what's been in the news about the third interstellar object that has came by. I mean, that already is one of those things where it's like we had assumed that perhaps because there were objects that were older than the Earth
Perhaps.
that were here,
Yeah.
that it had to happen. There had to be things just by the cosmic motion of everything. And this is the third time that they've actually been able to measure and detect that something that is out of this solar system has came here that isn't like something from the Oort cloud or anything like that. And so basically the way to summarize it is 3I Atlas is the designation for a recently discovered interstellar object. It's a comet that has entered our solar system. It was first spotted on July 1st. So this is only about a month, and it's, again, the only third one that they've confirmed. It likely came from another star system, and they thought that it was an asteroid, but based upon observations from Hubble, it's more likely a comet with a small nucleus and a surrounding cloud of gas.
Interesting.
The trajectory that it's moving is like fairly fast. Like I think it's like 600 kilometers per second.
Oh my God.
So to be able to get past the gravity of the Earth, you have to be going a set speed to be able to stay in orbit and everything. But at a certain speed, you can actually eject straight out of the solar system. I mean, they say that there's like a sewer panel that's floating through space because it was the cap to a nuclear detonation,
Yeah.
and it just when they got like one frame from like a camera that went like millions and millions and millions of frames per second. So it tells you, oh, that's really fast. But the thing about this is it's supposed to pass by Mars roughly in about October, November timeframe. So we'll be able to see this in the next couple of months. And it's roughly about a couple of kilometers wide. And there is a professor by the name of Avi Loeb who is out of Harvard. He's made predictions previously where he's like, this is a fucking spaceship. It's a spaceship. It's what it is.
Yeah.
They're coming. And I mean, like, maybe that's like too Alex Jones, but I'm like, I mean, at the
The
same
interdimensional space wizards are they're hiding behind comets, and they're gonna fucking come down and they're gonna turn your kids into fucking bats.
I hope that doesn't happen. But the thing about it that's so crazy is this is like literally the closest that one of these objects has gotten. So you wouldn't be able to see it perhaps with the naked eye, but I guarantee you'd be able to see this with a telescope.
So there might be an alien craft hiding behind this.
Like
That's what-
there's it's going to be something to see. I will
Interesting.
tell you that. And considering the size of it and the way that it's moving, how you'll know that it's an alien craft is if you see
The aliens come down?
Yes, yeah. That's the end result. I was gonna say rapid de-acceleration. So it's like if it's like going like 20 kilometers per hour, it's like, oh, okay. Now we need to call up Will
Yeah.
Smith and Jeff Goldblum and get that one dude to be the president so he can be like,
Someone get
Independence
the Star
Day.
Academy on the phone right now.
yes.
Yeah, called the TTSA. And now, Bill, this is Fred Stewart over at HGO News Network, and you're the chief scientist on this project.
Okay.
I do have a question for you.
Yes.
What is the girth of this rock?
The girth of the the girth of the rock, I I don't have that exact dimension, but like considering yeah, it is big. It is big. It's like definitely comparable in size to like the biggest asteroids that are out there. Not as big as like Ceres, but it is pretty sizable. And like if something like that were to crash into the Earth, yeah, that wouldn't just be like a planetary extinction event. That would be enough to probably make like a small planetoid.
So what you're saying is it has a lot of girth. Right?
Yes, lots of girth.
A lot of vein.
Yep.
It's a very veiny, girthy rock.
It
hiding aliens.
The veiny, girthy rock. It definitely doesn't need to take any rhino pills. Like this thing's ready to fuck.
Well, speaking of ready to fuck aliens, Taylor.
Yeah.
You have an episode for us.
I do.
All right.
So this involves Trinity. I don't know if you know Trinity.
No.
In New Mexico.
Like the Trinity test site?
Oh, the Trinity test site. Okay.
It ain't far from it.
Well, yeah.
So
It was like the Trinity test site in Mar-a-Lago, Florida.
yeah, no. So this whole story takes place about 18 miles away, northwest of Trinity. So
Okay.
So we're going. So are we ready?
I'm ready to get into it.
All right. So 18 miles northwest of Trinity, there is a family ranch of the Padillas. It's a traditional adobe house with a well in the front yard and a pickup truck that their 9-year-old son, Jose Padilla, drove.
Yep, Daddy let me go down
He's
to the
9.
store. Daddy let me go down to the store today because he said that he can't see on account of him making alcohol in the barn. Oh, I'm also going to get a pack of cigarettes for Ma and also for me.
9 years old and driving. It was a different time then.
Hey,
but
you got to get your kicks on Route 66. What can you do?
But I got to work at 12 at the mill.
It's like it's like when my mom would go to the store to buy a pack of like beer or cigarettes for her mom or for her dad. Like, huh? You're just like, yeah, no, I know your dad. You're good. And it's like, that's a choice. Okay.
It just screams alcoholic dad. Like, just like, listen, Bill, I need you to go down to the store and get me a case of Coors and a couple packs of cigarettes.
All right, Pappy, you got it.
Driving.
Well, and I mean, like, even just like walking to the store and just like being like, my dad wants his usual.
Yeah,
like, huh?
I just think of like that must have been the glory days. It's like that, like everybody, like boomers, maybe even Gen X, like they missed out on the best things that they had, because it's like, yeah, I'm sure it'd be great to be able to get a home, to be able to not work until, well, really, to not just keep working until I die. Like, no, it's to be able to get beers, cigarettes, and automatic weapons
without having to leave your house, because your child could just go get it.
Without having to leave your house. Let the kids do it. I mean, that's why you have so many kids.
I've talked on podcasts before, but I just recently, once again, just saw the footage of when they made drunk driving illegal. And if you haven't seen that footage, it's one of the funniest things in the entire world, because this guy, and he's like, well, I work 12, sometimes 10, 12 hours, and so I can't just have a beer on the way home.
Yeah.
And they're interviewing a mom who's like smoking, or she's like in the car with her baby in the front seat. And she's like, well, the next thing they're gonna do is tell you whether or not you're allowed to breathe the air. And then meanwhile, the baby's like, just like slap, like it's just like, you're drinking with your baby, and it's like, well, he can drive.
He can handle it.
But please continue by the Padilla family.
Okay. So, so Jose Padilla drove the truck pretty frequently since at the time the men in the family served in the armed forces. Jose's father, Faustino Padilla, worked for the WPA, which was Work Projects Administration of the Civilian Conservation Corps.
See why they shortened down.
I'm just gonna call it the WPA because
WPA.
it's so fucking long.
Yeah.
Sunday, the WPA comes to the motor center.
So the family raised cattle on a large ranch, and that was leased to the Bureau of Land Management, and much of the daily work on the property was handled by Jose, and often helped by his friend Remigio Baca, who was 2 years younger than him. So the 7 and 9-year-old were basically running this fucking farm.
Wow. You know, some guys, they're handed a kingdom when their dad is executed. They were just like, you know, doing the damn thing at 7 and 9. I mean, this was just skateboarding.
This is like an 80-acre farm.
Yeah, that's some serious responsibilities. Like, I don't even think I'm grown up enough to handle that.
You said
I'm certainly fucking not.
Bill said you're skateboarding. When I was 7, I think I was watching paint dry.
Ooh,
on purpose.
Paint is a captivating thing, and you know, it can change colors. It certainly can.
Yeah, it also tastes different when it's wet.
Oh yeah, I love paint.
Story of my life. No. I get
Great. Great. So Remigio Baca's family lived in conditions very similar to those of Jose Padilla. Remigio's father, who had once been a tenant farmer, was the assistant at the Veterans Hospital in Albuquerque. The Baca family was descendants of the original Spaniards who established the government of New Spain. As for Jose Padilla, he was of Apache descent on his maternal side, and on his father's side, he was of recent Spanish origin. So.
Yes.
So.
We're just going to jump into it.
Okay.
When the first atomic bomb exploded, the two families, like many other inhabitants in the area, were taken by surprise by the flash, the tremendous sound, and the heat wave. And Inez Padilla, Jose's mother, lost sight in one of her eyes. The Trinity test site, they did not prepare their people very well.
No, they definitely did not.
They said, we're just going to drop it and we're not going to tell nobody. Good luck.
There's a fantastic documentary, and I'm not talking about Oppenheimer, but there's a fantastic documentary about the nuclear test. I'm trying to remember what it's called off the top of my head. I'll look into it here in a minute. But they show like the first, like the Trinity test, like the test go off.
Yeah.
Because no one expected it to be that big.
Yeah.
And so like everybody was just like, oh my God, what have we done?
Yeah.
And like, what was Oppenheimer's quote? He said like I now become the god of death.
Oh yeah, I am become death.
Yeah.
My thing, I think all the time about that is that was a perfect example of when theory became reality real quick. And I think to myself all the time, what if the first detonation of a bomb had been like the fear mongers who were talking about it, and it had been like the Tsar Bomba. So instead of it being like a 1 kiloton explosion, it's like 50 megatons. And so just like everything from New Mexico up to Denver down to like Mexico City was just evaporated in an instant. That'd be crazy.
It would be crazy. It's Trinity and Beyond is what I was thinking of. Trinity and Beyond.
Yeah, they did not prepare people very well.
They didn't prepare anyone.
Like, they were just like,
Can you imagine just being like just a housewife? Your husband's out there working on your ranch. You're just, fucking on like Xanax or whatever they had back then. And
lithium?
Lithium.
It was usually lithium.
Like the batteries? And they're just shoving batteries in your mouth. And you're like, I love to look at the plates. And you look outside and then the fucking sun rises again.
Oh my God.
And just like, just an immense amounts of heat.
Like...
Then you're 9 years old, you're driving your truck, and you're like, sure, it's hot today out here in New Mexico.
I'm thinking in those instances, what you'd need to do is duck and cover or hide inside your lead-lined refrigerator like Indiana Jones, and then you'll be great.
Even better plan, you eat the fucking paint off the walls.
Yes, eating
what-
paint. That gives you like resilience.
That has the lead inside the paint. You become resistant to nuclear weapons. That's what the government doesn't want you to know.
I am become the lead guy.
So just to backtrack here.
Yes.
They do the Trinity test.
Yes.
Obviously, they're not expecting. They said they're 18 miles away, roughly.
Yes.
That's fucking close. That's
They're
too
18
close.
miles from Trinity.
That's a real gamble.
Marty Cowick, that we all know and love, we actually talked about like the nuclear bombs and stuff because
Yeah.
he's from Farmington, New Mexico.
Yeah.
And he said like people that like his family that was in the town during the Trinity test all said they all watched it go off. Like,
Yeah.
but they're so far away.
Yeah.
That was that fucking bright. It's meant to be 18 miles away.
Oh my god.
And then like something as bright as the sun is 18 miles away.
Yeah.
That's unimaginable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane. So, all right. So Trinity happened in July of 1945. Again, I fucking talked about this like not that long ago because we talked about Tunguska. The story we're talking about now is set in August of 1945. So this everything that happens later is a month after.
Sure.
Which I'm not gonna say it's not connected, but I'm not gonna say it is connected. But it's a little suspicious.
Little suspicious.
A little suspicious. Okay. So a lot of this information that I got, Jacques Vallée. I know Fred knows him. Do you know who Jacques Vallée is?
No, I'm not.
He is a Frenchman.
He is a French like astronomer and ufologist. Like he's a very big name. He worked with Alan Hynek,
Okay.
which isn't the person who ran Project Blue Book for a really long time.
Okay.
Or not even actually a really long time. It was a decent amount of time, and then they were like, "You're having too many good answers. Fucking bye." And then they
Okay.
replaced him.
Yeah.
Because he kept being like, "I think this one's aliens," and they're like, "No,
You're supposed to lie,
weather
goddammit.
balloon."
Weather balloon. It's all in the
Say
details.
it with me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, Alan Hynek would just turn to him and be like, "What do you think?" Like, I don't know. I'm from France.
and
I think
actually,
it was a big baguette from space.
so Alan Hynek actually does not have any opinion. Like, I'm sure he might now, but like he never actually had any public opinions about this story because this actually happened before Project Blue Book.
Okay.
Project Blue Book, I think, started in what, 47?
Something like that.
Like
yeah.
2 years after. So this story has actually not really been super well publicized.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it before?
Not this. No.
Okay. Yeah. So this is as Jacques Vallée puts it, this is like one of the most kind of like covered up UFO stories.
Can you do that in a French accent, please?
This is no,
You got it. You got it.
no,
You
I'm
got
not
it.
doing it. I can't.
This is the most covered up alien thing that talk about.
You started to not be French.
Oui,
at the end
oui.
there.
I have trouble even learning languages because I learned Spanish and then I learned a little bit of German and then I realized the two were meshing.
Yeah.
And so I ended up like not having any proper like conjugation or anything. I was like I understand English and I know that probably sounds terrible, but some people just don't really learn languages that well. And I'm one of
It's
those
easier
people.
when you're young.
Yeah, I
Like
believe
young
that.
learning languages, like learning different languages is easier, but it ain't fucking easy when you're an adult and have a whole life to fucking deal with on
And
top
it's
of anything.
hard.
You can't just like focus on a language.
Right,
You can't just be a kid and be like, yeah, I want to learn this. And then now it's life and it's like, when the fuck am I going to have time to fucking sit down and do my Duolingo?
Oh, yeah.
And it's even harder when you're French. So Jacques Vallée shows up.
Well, so
Well, he talks about it.
yeah, so he released a book about Trinity UFO. I can't remember the name off of the top of my head because
I got it.
my brain is mush. So a lot of this just comes from him. He did a interview with George Knapp.
Okay,
Oh, shit.
that's a
That's
name
a
in the
name that
game.
everyone knows. All right.
That's a name in the game.
So he did an interview with George Knapp. So that is
Fucking
where I
hell.
got a lot of this information because Jacques Vallée knows so fucking much about this fucking story.
Mhm.
Whereas like the Wikipedia page, honestly, not that much. Whereas Jacques Vallée is like, there's so much fucking shit you don't know. So
I fucking love George Knapp so much because he's been a broadcaster all his life.
Yeah.
And he still is a broadcaster, I believe.
Yeah.
And then it's just him being like, do you think that aliens are actually just hot dogs living inside of my body? And you're like, I don't know.
I don't know about that, but I do know where a whole bunch of hot dogs were found.
You're gonna have to give me the top scoop on that.
it's called Trinity, the best kept secret.
Trinity, the best kept secret.
It's called
So-
Trinity, the best kept secret.
Secret.
Let me rewind that real quick. Trinity, the best kept secret. George Knapp.
No.
I'm like, bro, you're like the
told you I was-
scat man
I told you
now.
I was backing it up. You guys are not paying attention to the improv, as most do.
Okay. So this is kind of like a long quote from the interview. There wasn't actually anyone who saw the thing crash on that particular property. They had to search for it. If you remember, there was this big storm and they had trouble finding the location. In fact, there are now people arguing there's 2 different locations.
Okay.
But so in this case, this is a turning point because the case happened on the property where the witnesses were. So they were there every day. There were 2 young children, the oldest 9, but they were there every day checking the cattle for their family. This was at the end of World War II. All the adults were fighting, all able-bodied men and women deployed from Japan to Germany. And so the children were given the job of taking care of their cattle. And on that particular day, they were looking for a cow that they knew was going to have a calf. And their father wanted to make sure that the calf was okay and that the mother was okay. And that they could mark the cows with their brand and everything. There's like fucking the run-on sentences here that have thrown me off. So they were there, and they were there with very good binoculars on their horse, and an object came up. It came up in the east from the southeast, and it hit a communication tower, which was controlling communication on the north end of White Sands. Those were the late days of World War II. There's been a fucking atom bomb.
Yeah.
as well, about 3 weeks before this. So
Yeah, our phone didn't work anyway because, all the cattle, they dropped the sun on us.
like,
Besides, okay.
I'm like thinking about the fact too is like this is before you could just blame this on the Soviets. This is before you could really say that there was much of a threat, because it's like even here in Oregon, like the furthest that something happened was the Japanese had attacked the Aleutian Islands in Alaska.
Yeah.
And they had released fire bombs that I think were supposed to like burn the forests of the West Coast. Like, and some made it to Oregon, but it had no sort of a major effect. So that something that far inland, you can't really like brush that off on some great ominous enemy or something like that. That really does beg some questions.
Yeah, I mean,
we did have the Oregon, what was it, a Japanese?
There was a Japanese deployed. It was a Japanese deployed fighter from a submarine that came out and they bombed the town, but they didn't.
Okay.
They didn't hit anything important. And then like literally, I think they blew out some windows or something like that. Blew up a business. And then after the war, the guy came back and presented the sword, his like family's sword. And then everybody was like super excited to see him.
Oh yeah,
it's a very cute, wholesome story for the fact he was like trying to kill everybody. He's like, I'm sorry, but yeah, I can't imagine what you're saying of being like so far inland.
Yeah.
And then just be like, is that one of them Japanese planes? And they're just like crashing through, it's making those alien noise.
I don't know what airplanes look like because, in fact, I can't see anymore.
Zephyr has a new weapon that he will employ.
Yeah, it's called making everyone in the 100-mile vicinity blind.
You think about it though, like these people are still just living their lives.
Yeah, like
3 weeks ago, they had the sun dropped on them.
Yeah.
And
Mom
they're just
lost an
like-
eye.
Like she lost vision, and then they're just like, that cow about to give birth. We gotta go check on it. Like, huh?
Yeah, Mom lost vision in one of her eyes.
Yep.
So Mom's blind. Like everybody's like probably sunburnt. Like
At least,
at
yeah.
least.
Oh my god.
And they're just living their lives.
Yep.
I'm like thinking like
Typical New Mexico.
typical New Mexico. I'm like thinking like, oh man, I should have like invested in some like SPF 2000 since there's all these like suns that are just appearing and whatnot.
I'm gonna make a text while you're doing this. I'm gonna contact my correspondent in New Mexico because I have some questions about New Mexico residents. You continue on.
Okay. So they saw this explosion, and they were within the perimeter, the enlarged perimeter of White Sands. So they were well used to the military operations in the area. That communication tower was for both civilian and military planes, guiding them around the mountain. After it crashed into the tower, the object got grounded. Technically, it didn't crash it. It kept its integrity. It didn't blow up into pieces the way that an airplane would have. It was apparently very fucking strong.
Okay.
Like this object, strong as shit.
Yeah.
Because usually, should an airplane hit like a communications tower, it ain't gonna just stay in one piece. Airplanes don't do that usually. They kind of just go everywhere.
Right.
I'm gonna get you an NTSB hat.
I was gonna say Trinity is an inside job.
Never mind. Never mind. I'm about my tongue. You continue on.
So they made a turn apparently under power and then stopped against a bump in the terrain. The kids saw that happen.
Yeah.
Like they saw this fucking thing hit the tower and just keep kind of going and then hit the ground.
Right.
Plow and then come to a stop.
Yeah.
They saw all this.
They hit the communication tower. Turn on TV. It doesn't matter what channel. Sorry again, guys.
Sorry again. The sky is falling.
I asked Mr. Marty Cowick, I said, hey, we're filming a pod talking about New Mexico. During the nuke test, no one seemed to care about the fact that the nuke happened. Does that seem correct about the current New Mexico residents? And he goes, yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hold on. We got to take a pause for 2 seconds. I gotta turn it. Oh God. All right. We're gonna make a fucking call.
Do you want me to stop recording?
Nope.
Okay.
No, you're gonna keep recording.
Okay.
All right. And we're now gonna call Marty Cowick to get some insider information about New Mexico.
The hello.
Hey, Marty, welcome to Haunts, Graves, and Omens.
Is this Fred from
Yeah.
Haunts, Graves, and Omens?
This is Fred from Haunts. You've hosted the pod. You've done episodes where you've hosted the entire podcast.
Holy shit, I can't believe I'm talking to Fred from Haunts, Graves, and Omens.
Well, you're also here with Bill Bernard and Taylor Shilland.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy. This is a dream come true.
So we're talking about the Trinity UFO. That is a case that took place just 18 miles away from the Trinity test site, where obviously a UFO obviously shows up a few weeks after the test. And I just wanted some inside information as a permanent resident of New Mexico. Does it seem about right that no one really gives a shit about the fact that people were going to go blind within the area around the Trinity test, and no one seemed to care?
Yeah, nobody cares. I don't care.
And if can you just give me like your act out skills if you saw the Trinity test outside your window?
I would be like, you see that light over there? Yeah, I don't care.
I got too much work to do. I don't care about lights. Get back to it.
Yeah.
All right, Marty, I appreciate you.
They say that day was the day the sun rose twice. You know, I didn't even give a fuck when it rose the first time.
All right, Marty. I'll text you later.
All right, thanks, Fred.
That was so he goes, you can call me if you want. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing that.
My general impression is that like people in New Mexico, like they're like, I don't care about that shit. It happened. It's done. It's over with. I still got other shit I got to deal with.
Yeah.
The sun's gonna rise tomorrow.
Oh man, I got fucking tears in my
I didn't hear the first.
It's so funny. All right, so they're working on the farm. A craft strikes communication tower, stays intact, and is just kind of like flying around.
No, it continues to the ground.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm having a Coca-Cola, so it's making me a struggle here.
The effervescence.
Yeah, so they come down, they hit the ground, they fucking slide, and then they hit a bump in the ground, they just kind of stop.
Okay.
So, now, again, this is 2 years before Roswell
Yes.
as well. There was no concept of flying saucers. Because Kenneth Arnold would come up with that term in July. So August 1947 is when everything about flying saucers kind of just fucking blew up.
Right.
Not in 1945, which is crazy because like these kids just watch a fucking craft hit the ground and they're like, huh.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll get to it, but I'm looking at the notes and just seeing what they describe it as, and it's very funny.
Yeah.
I like it. It does kind of beg the question because I'm like, when was War of the Worlds? When did that come out? Like the one that Orson Welles did.
That was, I think, late 40s, early 50s.
Okay.
I want to say it was 40s.
Because like I think
late.
I think of that.
1938.
19. Okay, so that did exist. So it's like I think about that, and then I think about, like what was the other? No, not Forbidden Planet. That had like the guy from Naked Gun in it, but that was like in the 50s. So it's like, no, I'm trying to think. That might have been the only thing in the public lexicon where they could even conceptualize that.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is, you know, these people, they primarily spoke Spanish.
Okay.
So, thinking about the fact that it's fucking 1930s, 1940s, probably didn't have really any translations of any films.
Yeah.
Either. So, I mean, like, it seems like they spoke a little bit of English, and I'm sure it only got better with time, but when you are like a first or second generation out of Spain, you're gonna primarily speak a lot of Spanish.
Right.
So there's also that aspect too of like maybe they didn't even ever see that film.
Right.
They were also 9 and 7 fucking working on a ranch. Like, you know, they were just, that's what they were doing. That's all. I mean,
all right.
You look like you're thinking over there.
No. I mean, I am thinking. I'm thinking too. What you would have even been exposed to other than, you know, depression, familiar, but like the Great Depression and Adolf and all of the stuff there. Like, I don't know what they could have pulled on.
Well, Bill, let's you know, you're new to hosting the pod, so this is your time to do improv. You can be a time traveler going back in time, and I'll be the 9-year-old Padilla boy.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Hello, Earthling. My name is Zenclon. Do you speak English?
You're supposed to be a time traveler, not an alien.
Oh, God. Well, I've ruined that already.
There's a lot happening.
Yeah,
Yo, what's up, bro? I'm this guy from the year 2025. Tell me, like, what's going on with you right now?
Well, I learned how to drive my dad's truck, and then I look after the cows. Do you want to see piles upon piles upon piles of sand?
Are we talking about Tatooine right now?
It's basically Tatooine, except everyone's more sad.
Oh
And
God,
that's how
I
Trinity
could do a Wookiee, but I don't know if I could do a Tusken Raider. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Arr, 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 arr.
That was cool.
I'm trying to pay as much homage to Star Wars as I can
I
over
don't
here.
know what a Tusken Raider is, but I know that Taylor was about to continue the story.
Morty, it's off the rails. I love it.
All right, so
Yes.
this object wasn't a saucer. It was more shaped like an egg.
Okay.
They said that it was shaped like an avocado.
That makes a lot of sense.
So, the term they used was an avocado about the size of 2 trucks.
An avocado the
That's
size
a
of 2
big ass
trucks.
avocado.
That is the standard measurement inside of New Mexico.
2 trucks.
How big is your child that was just born? Well, it's about the size of the front panel of a truck. Oh, pretty big.
Holy guacamole.
So, per Valet, he's like, so it's hard to say it didn't happen. I mean, obviously it did happen. I mean, the tower was bent, the traces on the ground. The kids knew the first thing to do in a case like this, again, was the end of the war, was to help the pilots of whatever the thing was, right? Like, they're
okay,
like, oh,
yeah.
maybe it's the U.S., and they crashed
Yeah.
their giant 2 truck-sized avocado plane, and we gotta go help them. So they rush down there. The vegetation's on fire, the brush is on fire, but the object is not on
Yeah.
fire, contrary to like some of the details out there. But so Jacques Vallée wrote this book with Paola Harris, who was the first to know about the case, and she was the one who first interviewed both the witnesses and stuff. And he also is like re-interviewed Jose Padilla. Like this man does his fucking due diligence.
That's
okay. So he this man rambles, though. I will say this 83-year-old man rambles.
Oh, really? Old people don't tend to do that.
He's maybe he's 85 now. He's rambling. He kind of rolls off. So, but it is still relevant to the story. He says, we reconstructed everything. We found a 3rd witness and a 4th witness. There was a bomber that was coming in for landing at Alamo Gordo. And Alamo Gordo is the airbase inside White Sands, which is an enormous area, as you know. And he was told by the control tower to take a look at the communication tower because they lost communication with the north end of the range. So he circles the tower, and he says that the tower has been hit by something, which confirms that something hit the fucking tower and took it out.
Yeah.
So people can't say that the tower wasn't hit
Yeah.
or like try to debunk it, because even a bomber was like, yeah, no, that shit's fucked up. And I'm sure he said it just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no. Like I would say that if you have no other means to be able to describe something, then your first initial reaction is probably going to be just about right. And it's like, if I was flying a bomber and I had known how secretive of an area it was, like, we'll just say I was like outside of Area 51, and I just saw like a giant baseball appear that was like the size of Las Vegas, but then it just started unraveling, I'd be like, holy shit, who's playing baseball? That would be like what my my immediate reaction is. And then I'd be like, okay, now I need to use my analytical brain. I do not have any way to comprehend whatever the fuck that is.
I just imagine being the B-1 pilot and then just like White Sands Tower, can you go ahead and check out that communication relay? It's like, Roger. And starts flying over and comes over and he looks in. Yeah, communication tower is down and there's 2 small boys and a bunch of cows. I think they're throwing cows?
Okay, so
Like, that's one strong boy.
That's one strong boy.
There's nothing else to do other than throw cows.
well, so actually he does. He describes that there is an object, and then he says 2 little Indians.
Okay.
That's for the time,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's the 2 boys and
Yep.
their horses
Yes.
that are there.
Yeah.
So he does actually say the tower's been hit. There's two people, and there's an object.
Right.
Again,
Confirms it again that they're...
no one knows what the fuck is happening, but he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it seems all right.
Well,
And
and
flies back. Like,
Yeah, you can show us clearing route back there, basically.
I'm
like,
like,
that's not a me problem. That's a
You
guys
problem.
That's for all the people.
problem.
yeah.
That's for all the people walking on the ground like a bunch of idiots. I can fly.
That's a problem for not me. Not my circus, not my monkeys. like I don't know what he's doing, but he seems apparently not very concerned. So the kids look at the object and they're shocked to see that there's an opening.
Okay.
Apparently there's one panel that has been ejected after the thing hit the tower. Through that opening, they see 3 beings, 3 little creatures inside. And so he says that, quote, I've had to go through the transcripts that Paola recorded. Sometimes they talk about little men. Sometimes they talk about little creatures. So I asked Jose, how come you can't tell me if they were creatures or men? And it says, quote, well, they were short. They were about the same size as the kids, about 4 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
They were humanoid. They were breathing air. They didn't have a helmet or a mask or anything. And they were breathing the air. They had sharp eyes, almost no mouth, and a very little nose. They were wearing coveralls that looked gray. And they stayed inside the object, so the kids saw them through that opening, sort of being apparently very agitated. Aliens are upset that they crashed.
God damn it, you think that AAA is gonna be able to jump us clean, Mom? You fucking idiot. We're in fucking New Mexico. There is nothing to hit, but you find the one thing to hit.
Literally, though.
The tallest building they have is 2 stories.
So they're very agitated, very worried about, but they were apparently not hurt.
Okay.
So they kind of just watch for a while, and then they say, we have to go report this to somebody. The older kid, Jose, wants to actually go inside the ship and help them. The younger kid, Raimi, doesn't want anything to do with it. He's scared, he's crying, he's terrified. Not a fan of it. He does not want to be involved. He was like, you can fucking go in there. I'm going over here. Good luck, though.
I mean, that's like a core memory for anyone. Like, and I mean, the only thing that's going well for them is the fact that this would be the first time that many people probably are hearing a story like this. So they can't just be like, oh, what the hell are you talking about? You're just talking about UFOs. That doesn't even exist yet. So
like, yeah, it's not really a thing. So they, I thought I had it in here at one point, but I think it might have gotten like accidentally deleted. But their appearance, not only were they about 3 to 4 feet tall, their appearance was described similar to a praying mantis or a Jerusalem cricket. What?
Insectoids. We're talking about insectoids right now. Because
So,
that's horrifying.
Yeah.
so I mean, maybe. So they have pear-shaped heads. But despite the description, Jose considered them human, and he said he felt their fright and their suffering, which is very odd. However, I also could see, if you think of a traditional gray,
Okay.
they have that kind of larger head that tapers, right? Just like a Jerusalem
cricket.
Yes.
Yes.
Or a praying mantis. Like, it's that same kind of like shape.
Right.
I don't think he's saying that they have that exact head or like the he doesn't say that they have like mandibles or anything. I think he was just trying to like think of the closest thing to that kind of like gray head alien shape.
Yeah.
Because like they're the right height for a gray. That head shape kind of makes sense if you're trying to relate it to something that you know. You know, they're wearing like fucking coveralls or whatever. Like,
yeah, the thing about like from Ramingo talking about like how, you know, when they get to see the creatures upon initial impact was saying like they kind of were making like an animal in pain noise and sound like cries of a newborn baby. And then I guess when these, you know, when they come out, I guess if you don't have anything to reference it on,
yeah, because like
it just like
It looks like a praying mantis, but wrong.
you know,
yeah, like I mean, like you kind of like think about it and you're like, yeah, actually that kind of like, if you're trying to relate it to something that you know, especially as a 7 and 9-year-old child, I think that makes sense. And I don't think it necessarily means we're talking about the like insect
yeah, so
variety.
just big eyes and like
Smaller mouth, small nose.
yeah,
Kind of that shape.
almost balloonish shape kind of head. Yeah.
You know, so I think that is...
God, it must have been impossible. If Project Blue Book was around, I can't imagine me the guys having to go investigate this because it would be impossible to get anything out of these kids. Just be like, so tell me, what exactly did you see? Can you describe the creatures to me? And he's like,
Well, the only things we have around here are cows and trucks and sand. So it looked like something like that, but not.
Do you know Jerusalem crickets?
very specific.
That's the only other thing here, because that's my only friend out here.
I've got to look up what one of these things looks like.
I mean, Jerusalem crickets kind of look like almost praying mantis-y style head, but a little like weirder. Praying mantis, but not, basically.
Praying mantis, but not. Yes.
Oh, that's a big ugly thing.
Oh, they're terrifying.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen one in person?
No, I've
You
never.
don't want to?
Yeah, no, I've not seen one of those in person.
I saw one in person when I went to Arizona, and I was like, "Fuck that thing!
Ugh.
Nah, I'm good."
The thing that I think about that I recently learned is what it's like gigantism. When like an animal has no predators, it can just get bigger and bigger. And so, like in New Zealand, they have like a bug that is like this big, and it started out as like tiny little cricket, but just over time that guy got to be like this huge, and like dogs and cats, they just hunt him because they have like no defensive mechanisms at all. They're just like
Crazy.
innocent giant bugs.
That's crazy. So yeah, they get on their horses, they go home, and they report it to their father. Father then calls the state police, and the state police say, "We'll be there." 48 hours later.
40.
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, it's New Mexico. So
48 hours later with the father and the kids. So
props to the dad to be like, hey, I'll make a call.
yeah, no,
know,
I mean like
Not just being like,
Dad, we were out in the field with the fucking avocado came down. It seemed like this drizzle quick.
and he's like, okay, I'll call the state police.
I'll call somebody, don't worry.
Dog, you're hopped up on some Mountain Dew right now.
I found my bunch of sand and rubbed it in my eyes to forget, but it turns out it just hurts more.
I found sand, but it was really white and powdery, so, you know.
I fucking found it in fucking Jordan.
It's called white sands for a reason.
Oh, ding dong ding.
It's because they're on cocaine.
So the day after the sighting, the boys were not able to return as they just had too many tasks that needed to be done on the farm. Yeah. They said, forget about the aliens. We gotta feed the cows. Like,
Now, boys, don't you be going out in that field messing with that alien now until you go and done all your chores.
Oh, nigga. All right.
you gotta go muck the stalls.
They're like out there throwing bells and hey, look, oh, I just want to go see the spaceship.
Yeah, I'd be hoping for spaceships to be crashing every chance I could get. That's 80 acres of farm.
Do you think the dad was like, okay, yeah, you saw this giant avocado crash. Did you finish your chores?
Yeah, exactly. All right, boys, listen, I know you want to go and play with the aliens, but they'll be there tomorrow to go play with, okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
They're all sad. They go sit in the one family room they have with where everyone eats, sleeps, and shits. It's all made out of sand. I don't know what anything about New Mexico, then it's full of sand.
On the third day, however, the boys returned to the crash site, accompanied by Jose Padilla's father, Faustino, and Eddie Apodaca,
Cool name.
who was the state police officer and family friend. Once there, the two adults entered the object.
The object.
The two adults were like, yeah, I'm going inside.
It was one thing when you guys were telling me a crazy ass story, but now that I'm looking at a giant avocado that's not an avocado, I don't know what to tell you, boys. So all I can say is make sure you do your chores.
Eddie, I told you I found all that white powder in my dad's fucking drawer, and I haven't slept in 2 days, but you should go in there.
Space powder.
Space powder makes my face all numb.
I just like that the two adults, their first reaction is like, well, gotta go inside.
Yeah, what a
We
weird.
gotta go inside.
We gotta go in there. We gotta figure that out.
This thing is shaped like a giant avocado. It's got a hole in it. Bill, take my gun and go in there.
So, after 5 or 10 minutes inside, they exited the craft, visibly disturbed.
Did you boys learn your lesson?
Well, so yeah, the two adults went in and then came out, and they were like not wanting to talk about what they saw. They were like clearly disturbed.
They had to reconcile some real demons with whatever was in
like,
there.
Oh fuck! Like, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Visibly
in there.
shaking, coming at me like they were putting things in holes and putting things in places that I didn't even know were holes. I'm gonna go back in for 5 more minutes, then we're gonna leave. 15 if I'm really feeling it.
So, whatever happened in the craft, the situation seemed to have worsened. They then turned to address the two boys, and they said, don't tell anybody about this. Not your brother, not your cousin, not your mother, not your father. That's our business.
About you, my father?
I think they're talking to the 7-year-old who's not part of the family.
Oh, okay.
And the reason for this is you can get in trouble. The strange occupants of the object were nowhere in sight and seemed to have disappeared. On the same day, the two boys were able to slip away, returning to the crash site alone. However, there were already some soldiers there collecting debris from the ground.
Oh, wow.
So I like how they're like, we're just gonna go take another look at the fucking spacecraft. And then they get there and they're like,
This is the 3rd day after the incident.
yeah.
And on the first day, the B1 flies over, right?
Yeah.
Or the B2, right? Yeah. So I just imagine on that 3rd day, they're just sitting in like, what's the Bill, you know, where is the mess hall? Everybody eats?
Yes.
Yeah.
So just sitting in the mess hall, it's like,
Or the canteen.
just eating and be like, yeah, it's like, yeah, I went did a flight or whatever. And it's like, oh, yeah, you did that flight over White Sands. That's cool. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I did too. I saw like a fucking craft or something like that. And everybody's just like, What? Like, yeah, there was like a strange craft and a bunch of creatures, but it's not a big
You
deal.
should have led with that.
No one asked.
No one asked.
No one asked. Why would I tell you? I don't know. There's not really any clarification on whether like the state officer called and was like, "You guys gotta fucking see this. Whatever you do, you know what? Actually, go inside. Go see.
Go in this hole and tell me what you see. Go into the hole.
Go in the hole and tell me what happened."
Go into my strange hole and tell me what you see.
I want to know if the same thing happened to you that happened to me.
Go into my strange hole in my big field and tell me what you see. God damn it.
I was a boy until I went into that hole. Now I'm a man.
So on the fourth day, and again, this comes from Jacques Vallée because he's the most reputable source that I have for this story. Quote, the army had to make a break in the fence. And they had to ask permission to do that, to open the fence. Mr. Padilla said, well, there's an opening for cattle, you know, why don't you just use that? They said, no, we need a bigger opening for a bigger truck.
Oh, okay.
So that kind of shows you how fucking large this ship is.
Right.
That's the biggest truck I've ever seen. That's like 4 trucks.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're using the New Mexico State size chart, are you?
Well, I'll get into the size of everything, but so Vallée states, so I had a little fight with Paola because I wanted to know what kind of truck it was, and she said, why do you need to know that? And I mean, that's not the story, you know. The stories of those little kids where they saw the aliens, I mean, the craft. And I said, yeah, but, you know, I need to know the weight of the craft. It's such run-on sentences.
But I said I need to know the weight of the craft because if I don't know the size of the truck.
I did, yeah. I mean, he's just trying to figure out how big this craft is.
Guesstimating.
And he's like, and the truck is gonna tell me, you know, how much the craft weighed. The kids tried to move the craft; it didn't work. Surprise.
Okay. If they could have, I would have been genuinely surprised.
You know, this 2 truck-sized avocado, and they can just like push it.
Yeah, they just got on like a little red wagon. It's just that light.
Yeah, I told Dad I'm just gonna use my hands and carry this big avocado home. Turns out there's horrible monsters that live in it, so never mind.
And
Just 2 kids trying to move a fucking spaceship. You think those aliens came back and they're like, what are you doing? What the fuck, dude?
What are you doing?
You're harshing the vibe. We crashed already because this fucking idiot hit the tallest thing in New Mexico.
they're really like, the kids are just pulling like the Tuscan.
Oh, yeah.
They're really like, you know what? They left it. It's mine now.
Yes. That and
Jawas.
Jawas in their big like fucking Cybertruck, taking
kind of like dumpsters. So you're right.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, they're just. I couldn't remember what they're called, but like they were like, they left it. I'm taking it.
I guess it's mine.
Yeah. Finders keepers.
It's very reminiscent of Billy the Kid, of just being in New Mexico and be like, well, no one's using it, so
Yeah,
I think we're just gonna try to take it.
I think we're learning something as these stories develop more and more. There might be a trend there.
And for next week's episode, we're talking about how those kids stole New Mexico.
So yeah, I mean the kids were there, obviously, even when the soldiers went for lunch or dinner, you know, and the kids were all there on the property. They knew how to hide. They would leave their horses in the back. They were fascinated day after day. And in the book, there's a table of what happened on that property. And so the human story is extraordinary. The physics stories are extraordinary because on the last day, nobody was there to watch the object. And then the object was on the truck.
Okay.
So no one saw them get this object onto the truck.
Okay, so
Except for, like, obviously the soldiers who were moving the truck.
Yeah.
But the kids, like, we're watching. And then the one day that they're not watching, it's on the truck.
Yeah.
It's like when you're trying to fucking watch something and you're like, oh, this is going to happen. And then you look away for a second. It fucking happens, you know?
Yeah, Dad says it's bad for us to look in one direction for too long, otherwise we get stuck.
Like, and then, by the way, the truck is an 18-wheeler.
Okay.
So big
It's
truck.
not little.
So it's a big old boy.
It's a big fucking truck.
Okay.
So this thing was not a weather balloon.
Mm-mm.
Are we on the same page with that?
Yeah. Yep. No weather balloon.
I think it was the planet Venus.
The planet Venus is only the size of 2 trucks.
What?
If it even exists. Looking at you, big planet. I know what you're hiding.
So the Army officer who came to talk to the father said, you know, we need to recover our weather balloon. And he said, oh, you know, I've got weather balloons for you.
Okay.
Because the property, I'm sorry, it wasn't 80 acres. It's 80,000 acres.
Oh yeah, that's
Whoa.
a bit larger than previously mentioned.
80 acres is a lot. 80,000 is way more.
Yeah,
I forgot a couple zeros.
just
Hey,
yeah.
you know, these accounting errors, they can happen.
Yeah,
but that does add a whole nother level of responsibility when you add in those zeros.
Well, what the fuck am I gonna do when there's a goddamn spaceship in my field? I only got 80 acres. Wait a second. I'm basically the king of New Mexico. Fuck, I'm taking all that. They're like, government's like, do whatever you want.
I mean, yeah, at some point.
We'll just give it to you. We also dropped the sun over there, but by accident, kind of. Not really.
Not really.
You can keep that too.
Yeah, don't ask about that.
Make sure to put a tiny sign in the middle of fucking nowhere that says that it was dropped there too. That's all that's there.
That's crazy.
When I looked up the Trinity test site from where it is from Farmington, New Mexico. By the way, it's like 4 hours. There's just a sign that says on this date the Trinity test occurred. That's it.
Insane. That's insane. But yeah, okay, so yeah, the Army officer. This actually I think is before the Army was like officially no, the Air Force wasn't quite yet formed.
Oh,
at
yeah.
this point either. So like they had pilots, but not the Air Force.
Yep.
But yeah, so the Army is like
Army Air Corps, right?
Yep. 1947. That's when the Air Force got started.
so this happened in 45. So this is even before that.
Yep.
But yeah, so the Army officer is like, we need our weather balloon. And the dad's like, oh, I got weather balloons for you. And not even in like a mean way, you know, because the property is 80,000 acres and scientists were launching weather balloons every day to know the direction of the wind and so on for the aircraft. So
it's so stupid. These guys should just New Mexico. There's no way New Mexico is this dumb. It takes out a fucking giant metal tower, creates a giant divot in the ground, spews debris where aliens get out. And then the government shows up and goes, hey, we're gonna need that weather balloon back. And then the guy just goes, okay. Like,
Well, he's
seems about right to me.
Well,
Even though my boy told me fucking 3 creatures crawled out of it making baby noises.
and we went in.
Yeah.
They went in. The dad and the officer went into the crowd.
That's the scariest weather balloon I've ever seen.
Well, okay, so yeah, he had weather balloons. He had like weather balloons that have like fallen on his property. Again, it's 80,000 acres, so it's bound to happen. So yeah, he would go around, he'd pick them up and he'd keep them and return them to the Army. So when he brought them an armful of weather balloons and they were like, no, it's a special weather balloon. The Army went, no, not those kinds. It's a different kind that you've never seen before, and it goes to another school and it's super cool and pretty. Like, you know, like no one fucking believes you.
No. Like no matter how you shape it up, in a time when aliens aren't a thing, it is like just that's a real cool story, bro. Like, what were you on?
It's a special weather balloon.
Yeah.
Just being like him coming out with the armfuls of weather balloons to the officer and just being like here you go. Like, no, I'm looking for how do I say this? And it's like something that size of 2 trucks. I'm like,
yes,
yeah, that. Where's that? I'm gonna need to find that horrific thing that you guys probably went into already and destroyed. But let's go.
So Jacques Vallée's estimation is that this thing was 4.5 to 5 tons.
Okay.
The kids ain't moving it on the little wagon.
No.
I'm just gonna say it. So yeah, the kids had tried to move it when it was on the truck ready to go, and it was on its side because if it had been upright, it wouldn't have gone under the overpass on the highway. The Transamerica Highway that goes through San Antonio. So
Sure.
they could see the underside, and on the underside of the craft, there were no propellers, there was no opening, no jets, literally nothing. He says there's no opening twice. What makes it work? I mean, what's the propulsion system?
Yeah.
What's the propulsion system? So I was trying to be French for a second.
On the last day, the truck was driven outside the gate, and with a strange device, it was tied up and covered by tarpaulin. Tarpaulin? Big tarp, I assume?
Big tarp.
I assume it's a big tarp. It's like, like the big cloth things that they secure over things.
Sure.
I'm assuming that's it. Are you looking it up?
I am looking it up.
Do you need to know how to spell it?
No.
Okay. Good luck.
May the odds ever be in your favor.
I found it. It is a big tarp.
A big tarp.
A large sheet of strong, flexible, water-resistant or waterproof material, often cloth, such as canvas, or polyester coated with polyurethane, or is made by made of plastic such as polyurethane. Just said that fucking try.
That's why we don't like Google
Big tarp.
AI.
Big tarp.
So yeah, they took it. They just covered it with a big old tarp. Jose says to his friend, "I think they're going to take it tonight." Remigio replied, "Yes. How about a souvenir?"
Oh, these little bastards.
Anything they can get their hands on.
Yeah.
Listen though, come on.
Honest to
I
God,
get it.
dude, if it was modern day New Mexico, this crash lands. You know how fast it'd be for the government to move this thing?
Oh,
it
yeah.
would have been moved like
No, they just would have showed up. They would have been like, looked around the local populace, and be like, you know, that thing's 90% copper, right?
Oh my God.
Just starts tearing it apart, ripping sheets back.
Oh my goodness.
So while Remigio kept the tarp open, Jose went up to the interior. On the inside of the object was the inside of the object was metallic and similar to yellow brass, but without shine. The door was flat, and the curved walls appeared to be made out of panels without any rivets. This is gonna surprise all of you. There were no signs of furniture.
Always. There's never furniture inside of UFOs, and I find it just to be pretty boring. You know, like you're not going to see this on HGTV.
Yeah.
You know,
Like, do aliens just not care about feng shui? Do they not care
No.
about comfort?
You know who they need
So-
is who is that HGTV guy that they would always hire to come like make over their houses, like
Ty Bennington,
Yeah,
Mystery
Ty-
Maker Home
yeah.
Edition. Yeah, just be like, all right, Zorbot family, here is your new home, and then they pull it back, and it's just like,
Move that tarp.
what the fuck? Move that tarp. Oh man.
Well, because like you think about it, like he would always like, they're like, oh, what do you like? And someone's like, I don't know, I think this is kind of cool. And they were like, we made your entire bedroom based on this one thing that you kind of like. I hope you like it a lot.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, I don't know, I think sometimes horses are kind of cool. And they're like, we made your room the inside of a horse.
It's like, you said you like music, so we put the entire Boston Symphony inside of your room. It's like trying to sleep, and you're like all right. Also, you said you care about helping others, so all of them are blind.
Let's take it up a notch. Let's take it up a notch. So we heard that I don't know why I just thought of The Godfather. So I'm like, you like horses, so we brought your favorite horse, but it died. But we wanted you to have it, so here's its head. I wish you the best.
You said you liked horses, so we put an entire Kentucky Derby inside of your room. 16 horses just kicking out fucking windows.
Hey, yeah, they had 80,000 acres to cover, so that just means that they have more room for activity.
The worst part about having the Kentucky Derby in your room is the fact that if one of them gets hurt, you do have to euthanize it in your room.
Yes, you do. And it's totally a side note here, but it might smell like horse shit. I don't know why.
Bill, the horse is here.
The horse is here.
Okay.
Here comes the dog.
Oh, I've got my money on him.
Spirit
Can
the
you not
turf.
stretch on my leg? It hurts my legs so much.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just imagine him doing that with the horses. Or not the horses, the aliens. Like, I think that's just so funny. So, yeah, there was no furniture, and on top of the object, girl, you're warm and you're sitting on me. Great. On the top of the object, there was a transparent plastic-like dome measuring about 70 centimeters, which let in daylight. On one side, there was a panel measuring about 30 by 24 inches, and attached to this was some pins, was a metal piece, which Jose loosened with a crowbar. That was the souvenir.
That was
Nice.
Was a panel.
That's a cool souvenir.
Yeah. The boys returned home. The device had been taken to an unknown location, and the site of the crash was cleared of all traces by the soldiers. The so-called souvenir was, quote, a decidedly earthy piece, about 30 centimeters long, and weighing about 425 grams, and contained a number of holes for pins of some kind. The boys hid the piece from everyone, even naming it Tesoro, meaning treasure. Thus, it has survived to this day. This piece is still around. I like that I'm I like my camera shot right now.
Yeah, cut to mine. Things are going good. I've been breathing hot air into my face.
Oh man. So this is certainly an experience. You're standing on my in-ears. So unlike other materials that were found at the crash site, which have been lost over the years, this piece is still around, and they still have it, which is surprising considering. Usually that's not how that works. Usually things they find out you have it, and they're like, have you ever seen Men in Black?
Go, you ever heard of a CIA
right here.
black site?
Yeah, like, I'm
I
surprised.
guess around this time, OSS, something like that.
Yeah. Yep. That is what that was. I think it was like the Office of Special something. 'Cause
Yes.
I know OSI. That's the Office of Special Investigations. That's the people who, if you're smoking weed and you're in the service, they'll get you. They'll be like, hey, we just wanted to ask you about this one little event that you had here, and then that just becomes the reality of how things are.
Yeah,
It's Bill's turn.
It would probably be something like this. Bill, I show up to your door. I'm from the OSS. I knock on the door. I just go,
Oh, hello.
hi, you're Bill Bernard?
Yeah, I am.
Hey, did you happen to see that strange thing come from the sky?
I mean, it is New Mexico. Usually you don't see strange things in the sky. I did see a second sun. That was really strange, but no, I usually just am over here counting and measuring things in trucks.
Well, that's good, because if you saw something, remember, no, you didn't.
Usually how it goes. So the souvenir ended up being donated to a university according to the wishes of Jose Padilla. And then, so this was in San Antonio. It kind of fell into oblivion without much difficulty. The soldiers involved had returned to their lives, and the Air Force buried it fucking forever ago. They were like, you know what? Never happened.
I can attest to that fact. I was in the Air Force, and this is the first time I'm hearing about this. And I worked in intelligence, and this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
It would be the funniest bit ever to be like a high-ranking general in the Air Force and just go up to some random dude and be like, aliens exist, and then just like walk away.
Oh, yeah.
And then just not say anything.
Yeah. No, I mean, like my thing. I always told people, because I was like, I deal with doom and gloom scenarios, and I have to basically forget everything that I've learned when I left, which I signed an NDA, so I'll attest to that fact. But the thing about it is, it's like, I was like, hey, if anything crazy happens, we need to come up with something. And so the thing that I came up with was, I was just going to say that I had a visit from like a dead family member, and my family would know, what is he talking? Oh, that's what he was talking about. But then, I mean, if I did actually have a visit from that person, that'd be vastly different. I'd be like, no, nothing bad is happening. I just happened to say hello to them, and now I don't know where I was going with that, but yes.
Taylor, you and I have made the joke for years of doing this podcast that, you know, I'm part of the CIA, you're part of the FBI, or bounce back and forth, part of government organizations. Mm-hmm. We have one sitting on our couch.
Yeah.
Stealing our secrets, Bill. There's nothing you can do to stop me unless you threaten to, I don't know, put spiders in my ears.
Dude, spiders in your ears, like, that's very effective. Don't forget about doing any sort of waterboarding. Spiders in your ears, they will very effectively get you. No, my thing that I thought a lot about was how many people stopped talking to me once I got a journalism degree after I had been in the intelligence community. They were like, oh, you're just going to be Mr. Whistleblower. I was like, no, I don't want to break big rocks into little rocks day in, day out at Fort Leavenworth. I don't want to do that. And so it's like, no, I'm as open and honest as I can be about stuff. But like, I am still one of those people, and it's part of why I'm here, where I'm like, I have an open mind, and I'm not afraid to ask questions.
All right. And that's Bill Bernard.
That's me.
Yeah, so I mean, like, honestly, they did a pretty good job. Like, this was not a very publicized case, like, ever. As far as I know, nothing was really in the news.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was published.
Yeah.
Other than this fucking book. They kind of really just said, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, so I mean, Jose Padilla and Remigio kind of lost touch with each other. There were warnings to remain silent that had prudently been accepted. The Second World War was followed by the Cold War. I mean, really, nothing happened. Remigio recalls that if someone talked too much about the affairs of Point Zero or remembered too many details, the government could send them to, quote, a long and restful cure in the nearby insane asylum. So,
yeah,
they really said, try it, see what happens.
Yeah.
If you keep talking about it, you're going away, and it's not gonna be for fun.
Well, no, and it's like the thing about it is it's like, whenever they get in those sort of situations where they're like we don't even want you asking about this. That tells you all you need to know about how serious it is, because it's like, if they're going to exert that much effort, you know that it was that freaking real.
Yeah.
Yeah, Valet likes to point out the obvious similarities between this case and Roswell. As with the later Roswell incident, the Army had no idea of what had happened until a local farmer alerted them. The Army had lost nothing, and they were not lacking experimental devices. The explanation of a weather balloon does not fit with the need to remove it with an 18-wheeler, however. Also intriguing is the fact that the military searched for, quote, anything of significance in the days following the recovery of the flying device. Well, I think I know what they were looking for.
Yeah.
And then they searched the Padilla's house. Jacques Vallée comments, quote, let's make sure it does not turn into a circus as Roswell did, and with all the hoaxes, all the exploitation by every groups, and the blatant lies of the military, it has been so hard for the real witnesses to have their story heard. This case is unique. Of course, everybody has problems.
Right.
Everyone is going to sit there and make comments. In 2003, journalist Ben Moffitt became the first to publicly report on the case. He wrote an article in a local New Mexico newspaper about it. And then in 2004, the piece of metal was supposedly taken from the crashed object and was analyzed. They say it was primarily aluminum. However, in 2016, a new analysis further classified the material as silumen. Nope.
Salumen?
Silumen?
Salumen. Fucking spewing salumen out the sides.
Which is 87% aluminum, 10% silicon, 1.9% copper.
You bet.
And 0.5% magnesium.
Okay.
Valet suggests perhaps this souvenir was not part of the vehicle's original equipment, but was a tool used by the soldiers, or a shattered piece from the destroyed Marconi radio tower. Skeptical writer Brian Dunning, who always has something to say and usually is never quite on the money on it, because I've heard his name before and not a lot of people like him.
Okay.
He states that, quote, the Baca and Padilla story have always been well known as a hoax, a literal hoax made up by people who knew they were making it up, not a distorted memory, not an honestly misinterpreted experience, but a straight up hoax. Dunning bases this claim on details first published on May 1st of 2023 by independent journalist Douglas Dean Johnson, followed by several further reports in the series. Dunning states there are other problems with the whole story too, such as Eddie Apodaca, or I think I'm saying that right. Supposedly the state trooper who picked up the wreckage with the family had actually been in Europe fighting in World War II at the time, and Johnson discovered that he didn't become a state trooper until 1951. Dunning concludes the evidence that does exist, proving that Baca pitched multiple different stories of pitched multiple different versions of a story to multiple UFO authors until finally getting one published, and that he was continually changing story elements. Which there was also, they claim, the total lack of evidence, any corroborating sources, and that both Baca and Padilla have histories of lying about themselves. But also, Jacques Vallée has he kind of like he's obviously on the other side where he's like, this is definitely something.
I like they said that Baca and Padilla had like history of lying about themselves.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I think that's very funny because we see that a lot in UFO cases. Like they have a history of lying. It's like, what the fuck are they lying about? Like,
Yeah, I'm actually 3 trucks tall.
Like,
oh,
yeah.
you're tall. That's like 3 trucks.
So, Jacques Vallée on May 15th of 23 published on the website of Paola Harris a response into the various facts reported by Douglas Dean Johnson, and addressed various criticisms of the UFO case. It's a section titled, "Why the Trinity Case Still Stands." He states regarding Mr. Padilla's life story, injuries, and records that there is some uncertainty due to various life events that happened to Padilla and other lost or forgotten documents. Quote, in other words, he's human.
Yeah, you also didn't say the title of that section enough because it's in all caps.
Oh.
Just why the Trinity case still stands.
You didn't do it in a French accent, though, so it doesn't
Sorry,
count.
let me get into character real quick.
Oui, well, Luigi. The Trinity case still stands.
Is that good? Thank you much for joining us. Hans Cruisen.
So,
I believe in you.
I do a lot for this podcast. I'm just kidding.
Addressing the discrepancy regarding Eddie Apodaca, Vallée states the real question should be, was there only one policeman named Apodaca in that region of New Mexico at that time? Vallée cites various statistics that show the surname Apodaca is common in the region, but also states the investigation into the Eddie Apodaca will obviously continue. But I mean, it wouldn't be that crazy if like they just got like a name wrong.
Uh-huh.
You know, like that's a fairly common surname, so I don't know. Vallée closes the response by saying, at a time when Congress is looking for historical data about direct observation of UFO phenomena, the answer remains buried at Trinity. On September 23rd, Vallée did not let it go and posted a second response. In the second article, Vallée does not take issue with the facts and inconsistencies previously reported by Johnson, but that, quote, Mr. Johnson does not address the patterns we discovered in this trilogy. Vallée states that Johnson approached the Trinity case, quote, not as a scientist, as he promoted himself in his critique, but as a skilled prosecutor who attempts to select weak points in the record and ignoring the rest to cast doubt not only on the accuracy of the research presented, but on the competency and by implications the honesty of our investigation. Read him to filth.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not a fucking scientist.
Jock got that note, got that whole thing like published, and then like he looked at it and was like,
And another thing.
Interesting that you would say such a thing. First of all, you stink, you smell, and I hate you. Also, you're wrong because you're dumb.
It's so funny that like he posts this one, right? He posts the first one in May. And then in September, he was just like, and another thing.
clap back.
Not done. Like,
oh my God.
Like there was no response. There was nothing that happened in between. He just decided, I'm not done. I have more. Like,
Unlike most ufologists, I imagine he might have a wife because he's French, and just sitting at the table and being like, his wife's like, so you seem a little tense. Is everything okay, Jock? Jock, everything okay?
no.
Okay. What's going on? You still thinking about that Trinity thing? Of course I'm thinking about the Trinity thing. And God damn it, fucking punches the fucking table over. Goes upstairs, get on the laptop. You're not a scientist and you never will be. Like, just like shits on this guy's dreams.
Dude, he read him. He definitely.
yeah, he's coming with a vengeance for sure.
Vallée does acknowledge several statements we presented as factual or truthful in our book have been rightly questioned by Mr. Johnson. And on that point, we do concede that his method of investigation is valuable and we are making the necessary changes in our record with full credit to him. Valet offers the possible explanation for why Baca may have fabricated details of the story, saying, quote, "The two kids solemnly swore to each other never to speak of that story. If that pledge was broken, then shouldn't the older Jose have been the leading role, or at least half of the earnings? Hence, the possible motivation to tell a different story, which the newspapers are more likely to accept because it's colorful and even believable, if you don't know the real facts." Valet absolves Jose Padilla of wrongdoing, saying Jose Padilla was on site and willing to help us. Contrary to what Mr. Johnson implies, he was seeking no glory or compensation, and he did not conspire with Baca. Valet concludes saying Mr. Johnson's big claim that the two men are guilty of conspiring to create a major hoax is not based on reality. It appears to be an extrapolation. I think that's how that word is.
Extrapolation.
I've never actually seen that word spelled out. I've never seen that word spelled out. So I was like, huh?
Extrapolation.
Of his deep interest in negating the entire episode of the crash and interpretation, which we still strongly disagree with. As for us, we will fix a few inaccuracies that Mr. Johnson noticed and quietly resume the analysis of the patterns that continue to shape our present concept of the phenomenon. On September 29th, Johnson reported on public access police reports, police dispatch radio, and body cam recording that Jose Padilla's 61-year-old son, Sammy, and the New Mexico State Police during the events that occurred on July 23rd. There was a conversation with a police dispatcher and later a police officer dispatched to his location where Sammy claims his father's a narcissist who's seeking fame, and Harris told him the book would be made into a movie. He also claims his father is lying about the Trinity UFO in addition to lying about having been a California police officer and being a war veteran. According to Sammy, quote, "He's just saying a lot of stuff that's not true."
There is one, listen, lying about being a police officer, pretty bad.
Yeah.
Lying about being a veteran, really bad. But lying about aliens, you piece of shit.
That crosses a line.
Yeah, got a veteran right here. What do you think about that, Bill?
Well, you know, I can tell you as a Air Force veteran and a veteran of a encounter, which I have talked about, where I thought I saw something, but I don't really know. I feel like if you're gonna say something that is so, like, such a big potential for it to be a lie, if it isn't the truth, like, that's gonna be the big thing. It's not gonna be, oh, I'm the president. Oh, I go to bingo. I don't go to bingo, but that's the lie. That's the two truths and a lie. I would go to bingo. If you're about to invite me, I would go.
I'll go to bingo with you.
Okay.
You wanna go to bingo with us?
You're the president?
Yes, I'm America's second black president.
Well, no, we had Bill Clinton.
Hey, gotta love Bill. That's another good guy. I like that name, Bill. But like,
I don't know about all of that. There's some files that are supposed to be released.
oh yes, what the thing I was gonna say for me is I used to make the explanation of my name is William, but I go by Bill. Like Bill Cosby. I don't do that anymore because of the correlation.
Please, for the love of God, the next time you do stand up, open with that. Just be like, I used to like my friends call me Bill because of Bill Cosby, and just read the room for 5 seconds and so see how that goes.
Check your fucking drinks right now.
People in the front row, splash zone. All right.
Splash zone.
So that's it, huh? His son's like, he's a liar, and then that's...
I mean, yeah, that was kind of like there was that back and forth of he's a liar, but he's...
What was the incident? Was it just... There was no real incident? It was just them arguing?
It was just his son, like, going off on a tangent, and then officers were called, which usually means there's a public disturbance, which usually doesn't pan out so well for the person doing the public disturbance.
I know my rights.
See, I don't know. I feel like it's probably a true story. And I don't know, my experience with narcissists is that they tend to say that everybody else is the narcissist.
You're being pretty narcissistic right now.
And they tend to say that everyone else is the narcissist. So I'm not saying that Sammy's a narcissist, but like, I'm also not saying he's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that this story is 100% genuine.
I think it's pretty true.
I think it happened. I think that New Mexicans still counting trucks.
Still counting trucks.
Yeah, I think that's all. I think it's all true. I think it actually happened. I mean, it makes sense because we know for a fact that during nuclear testing, that there was UFO sightings.
Yes.
So would it be shocking to me that the Trinity test happens and then like not too long after some aliens are like, hey, you know, there was like those chimps that we left on that planet, like, I don't know, a couple 100,000 years ago. They have the sun now.
They have the sun?
Yeah, they have the sun, and they just keep fucking dropping it over and over again. We should probably go check on it. And then they just end up getting fucking all wonky as they do. For some reason, they get wonky in the atmosphere or something like that. And they just come down, and they always smash like and crash into things. I wonder if it's like due to different like magnetic force or whatever.
Yeah.
I could extrapolate for hours.
I think they need to have conversations with like the Nordic aliens because they never seem to crash. They just seem to grab people and they're like, you need to fucking save the planet. You know, like
so boring.
Save the planet.
I have it on good authority that like one of the biggest things that I stand wondering is why is it's always America? I get it with the movies, but it's like, why is there so little talked about like...
It happens in other countries. It's just not publicized the way it is in America.
Yeah.
I mean, we just talked about...
That might be very American of me to assume that anyways. I'm just like, I just don't hear about it that often.
Yeah, you don't hear about it very often, but we've talked about quite a number.
We only let aliens fly in to the country, and they're always landing here, but never in Russia. Why is that?
Meanwhile, like a couple weeks ago, we talked about Russia and the Tunguska event.
Yeah.
It very well could have been.
Came out fucking a couple days ago from this. So
yeah, I mean, there's Tunguska, which we just talked about. You weren't there for that one.
Yes.
And then we also talked about Australian aliens, which you weren't there for.
Yeah.
And then we've also talked about aliens in the UK, which you also weren't there for.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard about one in the UK that
there's quite a number in the UK.
I've heard of some of those.
And I mean,
there was
not only
also
that,
the kids in is it Zimbabwe?
yeah, Zimbabwe school, right? But like one of the most credible ones for me has always been the Venezuela photos.
Yeah.
You guys ever seen those?
Uh-uh.
Where they're filming a documentary or they're filming the jungle for some sort of movie that they're doing, and they're just doing like, you know, helicopter, fucking throw a camera, just fly, get the B-roll shots, and in one frame there's a fucking disc UFO that just appears, and it's very strange.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're around. Yeah. I think they're probably in the ocean, but I think these ones probably were like the predecessors to the ones that live in the oceans now.
Yeah.
So I think that the Greys eventually were like, hey, we're not doing too great trying to land on the land in the ocean. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, they build little cities down there, do whatever. So I don't know.
The ocean's too big for us to really know everything that's down there, and I don't like that fact.
Yeah, that's fun. But if you had fun...
What do you think, Bill? Did you think it's real?
Oh, yeah. Do you think it's real?
You never chimed in.
So...
You think I just spewed a bunch of bullshit at you for the last hour and 30 minutes?
So, for me, when I sit here and go over everything, I feel like there's a couple of things that obviously jump out, like them being kids. They might have had an overactive imagination. But at the same time, though... they don't have anything to base this off of. Mm-hmm. So even if it was an airplane from the Army Army Air Corps. Even if it was something where it was explainable that way, they still don't have any sort of way to conceptualize that because of the language barrier, because of their age, because of everything. For me, I feel like something did happen, and unfortunately, time has elapsed enough, and there has been not sufficiently enough people to offer their own insights into it, that I feel like it's something that needs to be revisited. And the thing I was going to say before is one of the most fascinating things that somebody ever had shown me was a literal piece of like Babylon. They had saved a piece of Babylon when they had gone to Iraq, and so that was their souvenir. I don't know whether or not they were supposed to have that, but
probably
they did. Not. Yeah, probably not.
And also,
listen to our episode about battlefield hauntings. We talk about the Camp Babylon incident.
Well, and I also have a thing of like, if you're taking like a memento from a place where there's so much like history,
yes,
that there is likely going to be things attached to it. And I think that's where we get like these like cursed objects. You know, there's certain places where you travel, and they're like, do not fucking take a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
I have a story that I'll share off air about that.
Like,
not from me, but from a friend of mine.
Like, yeah, like there's a lot of places where they're like that, and honestly, in my opinion, I'm always like, probably don't take that. But
So,
what do I know?
Around the room, Bill, aliens, yes or no?
Yeah. I think it had to be aliens. It had to be.
Okay.
I agree.
I think it was aliens.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
That's a pretty controversial opinion.
I got a lot of those. If you got controversial opinions, be sure to like, share, subscribe, do the business. You know, share the podcast. We love you. We want to keep doing this. We're here for you. And if you want to send us your controversial opinions, you can at HGOPodcast, Instagram, Thread, TikTok, and our email at HGOPodcast@gmail.com, where you can send in your personal stories that we'd love to read. If you want to follow me directly, you can at I Hunt the Haunted on Instagram and TikTok. And I'll pass it off today.
Hello, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. That's all I got. And it is Lunar Thrill. You can also follow our dog, who's taking the fattest nap of her life right now, at Spirit the Turv. That is also on Instagram. And yeah, that's all I got. Sometimes I do stream. I've not recently, but that might change. So go follow me on Twitch at Lunar Thrill. I make things simple and make things easy. It's all the same.
It's all the same.
Bill.
Yes, I'm Bill Bernard. I am Thrill of Bill most often on either Snap or on TikTok. That's what I use the most of. And I have like a bunch of other socials everywhere, but that's the easiest way to get a hold of me. And I am hoping to do some more work out here. And yeah, I do stand up too. So check it out sometime.
Yeah, go see Bill do some stand up. But remember to stay spooky.
Stay haunted.
And I'm as tall as 2 trucks.
Bye.
Bye.